You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Jazmin.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV for 16 and pregnant. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's 16 and Pregnant After Show.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? You are checking out AFTERBUZZ TV, the 16 and Pregnant After Show. I am Tiffany, and I'm joined by the lovely Sterling.
Hello, I'm Sterling.
Hey, guys. So, really quickly, I want you guys to check out Maria Menounos' book. It's out. It's called The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness. And there's great recipes, pictures, and she teaches you how she lost 40 pounds and how you can do it too. So I've definitely been checking out this book because it's bikini season.
I was just gonna say, time to get in shape.
Time to get it right, get it tight. And Maria Menounos is a great example of how to
do that.
Slim and trim.
Yeah.
So let's get right to it.
All right.
What did you think of this episode?
Well, we've talked in previous episodes about how you kind of always side with the guys. And I was like, wow, I feel like Tiffany. I'm on the guy side for once. So, yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see the different dynamic between Jazmin's parents with Dell, her baby daddy, and just how big of a role they played in this episode.
It was refreshing almost to see a little bit. So this episode 8, we were introduced to Jazmin, who was 17 years old, a senior in high school, and lived with very strict parents in Raytown, Missouri.
Yes,
Raytown, Missouri. And we've talked before about how the types of families on these shows kind of seem to be very similar in the fact that they're a little bit broken, a little mildly dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. There's always some sort of missing piece to the puzzle here, whereas this case is completely the opposite. I think MTV has been listening to AFTERBUZZ TV, obviously. And
obviously. That's exactly what they're doing.
So they switched it up a little bit with a family that seemed to be way more traditional in a sense, and a mother who had a very strong grip on things.
Right, very traditional, very religious. And Jazmin and Dell broke all of the rules by getting pregnant. And they will not let them forget it either.
Oh, my God. I really started. So you felt bad for Dell this episode.
I did.
I felt bad for Jazmin this episode, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt, so we'll get more into this, but I just really felt like Jazmin could have stood up for Dell and the baby a little more.
Right. So the family, they're very traditional, very Christian. And one of the things that her mother said to her early on in the episode is that I trusted you. Mm-hmm. I gave you freedom. You were a star in my eyes. I thought you had so much potential, and you let me down.
Right. I thought that it was very sad to hear both her mother and her stepfather tell her how much of a major disappointment, quote unquote, that she is to them. And I just feel like, okay, she's already pregnant. She's already going through this stuff. You don't need to just like keep hashing in the fact about how big of a disappointment she is to you, you know?
Right.
I just felt like that wasn't helping the situation at all.
It definitely wasn't helping. But I kind of understood that because they didn't want to make light of the situation at all, even though they're starting dinner by saying, we're so disappointed in you. Now let's pray.
Yeah.
But, like, I get it because I kind of came from that sort of household, too. And
no, it's definitely understandable.
It was awful.
Yeah. And they have their very strict rules, so I guess we'll lay those out real quick.
Yeah.
So no one underage can be over at the house without adult supervision. Understandable. Okay. Mm-hmm. No sex in the house. Also understandable. What were some of the other ones? It was no sleepovers, obviously. Just, you can't stay past 10.
Can't stay past 10.
If the parents are asleep, you can't be there. If they're not there, you can't be there.
Right.
And it's really just you have to call before you come
over.
Call the parents before you come over. And so, I mean, when you have a kid or when the kid comes, you want to be able to see your kid whenever you want. So the fact that they didn't even change those house rules even after Layla, the baby, was born was really surprising to me, that they didn't let up a little bit or make it a little more flexible.
You know, it was crazy to me too that they didn't, but I totally got that, because to me she reminds me of like a Southern Christian mother.
No, I definitely grew up around.
And like my mother was the same way. Like I could not even have guy visitors to my house, like even for prom. My mother picked my prom date. That's how adamant she was about me messing around. But what I liked about Jazmin, even like I could tell that it was bothering her, but she was like, okay, well, I just got to earn your trust back. And
she was very respectful of her parents, which was really good to see, because on these shows, again, you don't see the kids kind of following the rules.
Right.
But to me, the whole thing about the house rules and how strict they were about them, totally understandable. You don't want to disrespect anyone's house, and just because of this happening doesn't mean you should change your rules and whatever. But it still seemed to me like they were trying to teach Jazmin and Dell a lesson.
Too late
about breaking the rules. They had the ultimate consequence of breaking the rules before they got pregnant. Now they're having a baby. And, I mean, having a baby is just, that kind of changes everything, you know? And isn't that baby a lesson enough? I don't see, you know, them bringing home this child. They're struggling. They're, you know, learning, wow, we should have waited. I can't believe that we didn't. We should have been safer, all this stuff. They're learning all of these lessons because they had a baby. They don't need the parents coming in and, you can't stay past 10, you know, like we've already established that. I don't think they're going to want to have another kid anytime soon. They've learned that lesson.
Absolutely not. And the couple, Dell and Jazmin, they really seem to be into each other. They're very sweet to each other. And
very
Dell
sweet.
was very understanding and super laid back. Like, I was like, he was very laid back. He found a job very early on in the episode, which was one of the requirements, obviously, for the baby daddy.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't around as much as they would have liked him to be.
Well, he wasn't around, because of the house rules. But he wanted to be there. I don't think he was laid back as much as he was respectful of the parents' rules. But you definitely could see that he wanted to be there. He wants to be involved. He wants to be the daddy. He wants Layla to come over to the house. He wants to be involved, and he can't be because of the rules.
And there were a couple of early morning doctor's appointments, too, that we also saw him go to with her and her mom. And then there's one closer to the due date that he missed.
Right.
And then her mom kind of had something to say about it.
Well, obviously she's going to take that opportunity to be like,
to bash him.
See, you guys aren't mature enough for this. But the thing is that he's working crazy hours. He's working late into the night. She's scheduling 7 a.m. appointments. And so, like, if Jazmin doesn't even care that he's not there because she understands he's working, he's trying to save enough money up so that they can move in together, I don't get why the mom has to go in and make it this huge deal that it isn't.
So then Dell kind of took it upon himself.
We've switched roles here with defending the guy versus defending the girl.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I think it's because we switched seats tonight.
I think so. Okay, so Dell, I thought he tried to find his voice a little bit and have a conversation with the mom because it kind of was a little bit out of control. And this was before the baby got into the picture.
Right. He was trying to set it up because he knew he was going to want to be there.
Right. And
he was trying to make it, you know, more flexible for him. If I get off work, can I come over here? Can I come before, even though you're not here and you might be at work? And at that time, the mother seemed pretty understanding.
She seemed very open to the conversation.
Yeah. For me, it feels like, yes, she is a strong lady and definitely set in her values, but it really is coming a lot from the stepdad, too, because she said, I need to talk to him before we make any decisions.
Oh, my goodness. I have no doubt that lady rules that house with an iron fist.
Seriously.
Like, that stepdad is just a mere muse.
Right. So do you think that she's told Jazmin and Dell that there's a possibility we could change the house rules? Do you think that she was just trying to put it off to make it seem like a decision they came to, as opposed to that's what she already thought?
Of course. I feel like maybe she took some of what he was saying into consideration, because at the core of it all, there is a baby that is both of theirs, not just your daughter's. So maybe she stepped away to talk to her husband about it. But when she came back to deliver the answer. She's like, we've worked really hard to build this house, and we have to answer to God
Right.
for everything that goes on in it.
No, and I get that, and I respect, her opinion and that's how her house is, and no one can change that. But the baby changes everything. This is another human, and it's equally Dell's as it is Jazmin's, and he deserves to be able to spend time with his child, whether it was unplanned or not.
So then,
That's all I have to say about that.
you heard it here. Mom, get it together. So, as a result of the very strict house rules, Jazmin, after her baby shower, shortly after her baby shower, she started going into labor. Mm-hmm. And no one was there with her.
Yeah.
And Dell couldn't come over because of the house rules.
Because the mom's not there. Like, seriously?
I know.
She's going into labor, and he literally cannot come to the house because the grandma's not there.
What sense does that make?
This is what I'm trying to tell you, Tiffany. It's crazy talk. It really is.
So Mom rushes home from wherever she is because baby daddy can't come. He can't be there. He just can't be there.
So he meets them at the hospital.
Right.
He's so willing and able, and it's so nice to see that on this show because honestly, usually I'm not on the guy's side, and I'm like, wow, they could have been doing so much more. Like, they're not trying. They're getting 18 million speeding tickets.
Right.
Stuff like that. So it's really, when I'm seeing this guy who's like, let me in to be with the family and, like, let me support you guys and let me come home to you guys. It's just really nice to see, someone stepping up at such a young age.
For both of them. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought that they handled themselves very well. And even him dealing with the fact that she kind of shut the door on him on several occasions. Like, you would see her come downstairs and chop, chop, we got to go.
And he'd be like, all right,
got to go. But he handled it pretty well. Mm-hmm. So then in comes baby Layla.
Yay, so cute.
Such a cute kid.
Yeah.
And he was obviously very excited about the baby coming home. And he expressed how happy he was that the baby was here and that he was looking forward to watching it grow up. All of it very sweet. Very
it was
sweet
so
kid.
Cute. He was like, I want to, because when he was talking about how he wants, to be able to be there despite the house rules, he's like, I want to see her first steps. I want to see her do this and see her do that. And it's sad to me that he potentially might not be able to because of these silly rules,
right?
Which aren't silly, and I get it. Like, let's be strict parents, but that's before you get pregnant. That's to avoid pregnancy. It's already happened.
But then it's like, okay, she wants to keep the order in her house, but she also is trying to drive home this point to her daughter and punish her.
Right.
Like, it's too late now. So the baby comes home and is crying and pooping everywhere, and there's no one to help her.
Yeah, well, and Dell wants to be there, but he literally can't come to the house.
Right, because he works late, and any time after 10 is too late, regardless of if you've seen your baby in a week or not. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, time has passed. I think even a week passed.
Right.
Before.
And I think he's done more than enough to prove that he is responsible and mature enough to handle this baby. And the fact that he wants to be there and they're not allowing him to, is disappointing.
So then Dell gets pissed off. In Dell's laid-back way.
Yeah,
and he
didn't really seem that pissed off. He just seemed kind of frustrated.
Right. So he calls another meeting with the mom and Jazmin, and he kind of had a different approach this time. He was no more Mr. Nice Guy, and he was like, I'm irritated with everybody.
That's the first time he expressed, but he didn't even look irritated.
Like,
He's like, I'm irritated.
I'm irritated with everyone.
But at the same time, you are coming into someone else's house. He didn't want to attack her. I thought he was not disrespectful. I thought he was very respectful about approaching the situation while still trying to stand up for himself. Because when you have a woman like that can be very terrifying.
That was the wackest attempt at standing up for yourself that I've ever seen. I was not convinced. Scared. I could have pushed him with a finger and he would have fallen over.
Right, but I mean, she already has so many rules. What is he gonna do to get her attention?
Exactly. Well, so she could sense a little bit of his attitude you know, when he came to it, and she's like, you need to know that you're coming up in my house.
Oh my gosh.
You got your irritation up in my house.
He did not even have an attitude.
It wasn't even enough
like,
for her to be.
Is it a crime to say you're frustrated with something? I truly cannot deal.
So then I couldn't either. Like, she was ready, like, in defense mode to kind of tear that down. So anyway, she said that she would go back, listen to his concerns, and discuss with her husband again.
Right.
You know.
And they come back and they say, nope, sorry, not changing anything.
Sorry, not changing. What she said is, they did things out of order, and you have to deal with things out of order now because that's what you chose. Like, in my mind, I'm like,
when that happened, I was thinking this exact thought during this scene about how, okay, so this is obviously all recorded. This is going to be an episode that they're probably going to have in their cabinets, whatever.
Right.
So I'm thinking, when Layla's old enough to watch this, if she does, the kid, I'm thinking, wow, I would be so mad at my grandma for not letting my dad, who obviously wants to be there.
Right.
You know, and so I just thought that was frustrating. And you know what? It's all about Layla. I don't care about your house. I don't care that they're 17. This is about the kid. This is about the baby and her growing up and all of that. And so I just couldn't understand that she was being so selfish about her house rules.
Yeah,
this is the last I'm going to say about that. So they have these strict house rules where they won't let Dell be involved. But then on the other side, Dell and Jazmin want to move out. They want to have their own place, but they don't support that either.
You know, I didn't hear a lot of talk about that. That was what I was going to ask.
Right.
They, like the other couples that we've seen in previous episodes, have been working diligently towards finding a place of their own. Mm-hmm. But these two, they didn't really mention that much.
So the thing is at the beginning of the episode, they did bring it up how they wanted to move out. And the stepdad said, well, we don't support that, and we just want to let you know that we don't support that. So in previous episodes, I feel like parents are very supportive that we've seen so far this season. With, you know, either letting both of them be in the house or helping them, you know, move out, or when it is the right time to move out. But I don't think they're going to help financially, and I don't think they're going to help. Like, I just don't think it's a realistic thing financially right now for Dell to single-handedly pay the rent.
Right.
But I know that they talked about that between each other the whole episode. Mm-hmm. But the parents don't support it, so it's kind of like, all right, nix that idea. Let's on to the next one.
And I'm guessing that's because the parents want them to get married first.
Get married first and do the whole,
and do it.
Be old enough. And I don't think they think they're mature enough to have the baby by themselves.
Right. Well,
which is also crazy to me.
And then Jazmin, she wanted to study cardiovascular perfusion.
Mm-hmm. It's like play with blood.
But yeah, so that's on hold. So we really she didn't talk about what she wanted to do post high school. I just know that as the baby came into the picture, she started struggling getting her work done because there was no one helping her.
Right, and she was trying to graduate still online while watching the baby, which, you know, obviously is hard. And she was also talking about how Layla will wake up in the middle of the night and how she has to attend to her, so she can't ever sleep and she can't get her schoolwork done. So I think these rules, even though they're trying to make a point, they're making it so much harder on Jazmin when it could be a lot easier.
So what would you have done if you were still in your mother's house, she was very strict, and you just had a new baby? What would you do? Because you don't have money to go anywhere.
Well, okay, what I would have done is we don't ever see, I get that Jazmin respects her mother's rules and respects her mother and they're super close, but she never once defended the fact that Dell needs to spend more time with Layla to her mother. She said she would always be agreeing with Dell when they're one-on-one, and then she's always agreeing with her mom when they're one-on-one.
Right.
She needs to stand up for Dell and say, let him come here, you know? Like, I feel like I would have not.
Listen, Mom, I know this is your house, but my baby daddy needs to see his baby.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You asked me what I would have done. I would have at least tried.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see her ever try to stand up for him or against, like, the rules at all.
We also didn't see any of Dale's living situation, so we don't know what his family situation was like, but maybe that could have been an option also, moving out with him.
Well, with this situation, it kind of seemed like that baby was going to be in that house whether anyone didn't want it to be. You know, like I felt like it wasn't leaving that house.
You felt like
I was
Mom?
surprised that they even took the baby to the restaurant because
I
I was not
know.
expecting it to ever leave the house.
Well, they actually, so she ended up taking the baby to the restaurant after her and Dell had some kind of a back and forth. Like, that was their first argument that we saw them have. And that was Dell, after being told that he could not spend more time at the house because of his work schedule. He wanted to have the baby at his house and take care of the baby on his own.
Which makes sense.
As any dad should.
Right.
Spend time with your daughter.
Right.
And so Jasmine's response to that was, I'm not ready to let my baby to sleep alone without my baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're fit to take care of her.
Well, obviously, Jasmine is her mother's daughter.
Right.
And I don't think that she is comfortable, you know, not having 100% grasp on everything that's happening. Because I feel like that's just that control that she has.
Right. But I kind of felt like it's kind of like teetering on dangerous territory when you're telling the baby's father that he can't keep her. Like, that's you're kind of inching into custody issues now. And it's like, okay, I get, but then again, you know, I guess mothers are extremely attached to their newborn and don't want to see it go. And then they didn't take a parenting course or anything like that. So maybe, you know, the way Dell is, he's so like laid back.
He's like, all right, fine. But then he didn't really like stand up for that idea he had about spending time, you know, with Layla more. He didn't. When she turned it down, he was just like, all right. I'll try to think of something else.
I'll just keep on working.
Yeah, but
Sweet Dell, so patient, so kind. But I know that Jazmin also had a conversation with her friend who agreed with you basically and said that once you bring a baby into the picture, rules go out the window.
right, it's completely different. Like, there should be a completely new, more appropriate set of rules for Jazmin and Dell now that they are parents.
Right.
They have adult responsibilities. They're almost 18, if not 18 already, which legally is an adult, you know? They're not 9 years old, and we're not trying to keep them from kissing in the closet or something, you know?
Right.
Just seemed a bit
But they are
unrealistic.
trying to keep them from kissing in the closet, which is crazy. Which reminds me so much of my mom. Like, I was 20 years old, my mom still couldn't imagine me having a boyfriend. So, like, they're super strict
So
like
what
that.
would you have done if you were in this situation?
I would have run away.
You would run away with your baby?
Teenage baby run away.
Really?
I would have had to. My mother is a drill sergeant and my dad is too. So that would not fly in my
Would they have
house.
let you live at the house with your baby or no?
I imagine it being very similar to Layla's situation or Jasmine's situation with the rules and the watching. Like, I had a guy come to, because I couldn't have male visitors, so I like pretended to go outside to the mailbox when I was 17 to check the mail, and there was a guy driving by just to say hi that I knew because I planned it, and
Yeah.
my mother saw this and she was like, like, I was the worst person ever. I was grounded after
my
that.
gosh.
So I get it. I get this sort of.
I can see that you. I can see that you get it now.
It's traumatic.
Yeah,
it's traumatic, and I feel bad for Dell.
Well, yeah, when you
'Cause he
think
has to
about it
deal
that
with
way,
it.
I guess you can really see how Jazmin, you know, is kind of might be afraid to step up to her mom and have that conversation and make it a confrontational thing. But at the same time, you don't want to cross her because then you might be out on the streets with the baby and no money.
Right.
You know, so.
Or it's just
Definitely.
shacking up with Dell.
Yeah, where does Dell live?
Who knows? Who knows where he lives or what he does?
Right.
And unfortunately, I did check on news. There is no news for this couple, so we don't know how they're doing. We will be tweeting them, though, to see if they want to join us towards the end of the season. But I did check out MTV.com, and there was a poll about whether or not you think Jasmine's mother is too strict.
Yes.
80% said yes, 20% said no.
Wow.
So a lot of people agree with you. I think she was definitely too strict
Yeah.
as well.
I say that, but I also do want to mention that I respect her rules and I respect that that's the way your household is. And, you know, if you go into someone else's house, you have to be respectful of those. So,
Do you want to do some
different strokes for different folks.
predictions?
Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I am going to predict that Dell and Jasmine will move out of her mother's house in 2 years.
2 years.
I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Jazmin still has to finish school. I'm pretty sure her mother is going to have a hand in her getting started in some sort of vocational program or something because she wants to make sure her daughter is on the right track.
Right. She told her that she doesn't think she's fulfilling her potential.
Right. And
which is also kind of mean.
That was a very harsh, honest truth. But I appreciate her for saying that because she was so hard on her. She's like, I feel like you've fallen short. You used to have so much potential, and now I just don't think you're going to be capable of fulfilling that. So I think because she has those reservations in her mind, she's going to take an active role in making sure that she at least hits some major milestones in her life.
Yeah.
Dell, on the other hand, I don't know. I hope that he finds a voice.
Yeah.
Soon.
Well, I just hope that Dell and Jazmin's relationship stays strong because they do seem like a good match. He seems that he wants to spend just as much time with Jazmin as he does with Layla, so that's really encouraging to see. And I want them, I mean, how do you think that the parents would feel if they got married really soon?
I think that they would like that more. And which could be a horrible idea.
Could be a terrible idea.
But they would probably feel more comfortable with that because that's the way that God wants it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that they'd feel comfortable with them moving in together unless they're married.
Right.
So I'm hoping that if the relationship goes well, you know, they can do that. They can move in together. But the most important thing is Layla. And I hope that she gets to spend some more time with her dad.
I hope so, too, because he loves her. He adores her.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that he talked about at dinner was feeling sad that he couldn't spend more time with the both of them.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
All right. So that's about it for us.
Okay.
Maria Menounos, the Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, is out. Be sure to check that out. And also subscribe on iTunes and comment and rate us.
Yep.
You can find me at Tiff's Tweets, TIFFZ, TWEETZ on Twitter. How about you?
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.